linebacker Lee Skinner, going to Dayton, Ohio with us today. Second leading tackler on the team with 62 tackles on the season. Bulls coming off a 51-41 loss at Toledo, looking ahead to another midweek Tuesday game at Miami next Tuesday. So with that, Coach, we'll open up the statement and we'll take questions.
Okay, very good, John, and I appreciate everyone being here. Going quickly back to the Toledo game, they got after us up front. You know, they controlled the line of scrimmage, and that was something that I know our power position wasn't pleased with, and certainly we need to address that, and we have. You know, we've been really good on taking care of the ball. That obviously hurt us in this ball game, and not taking the ball away was part of that. Offensively, we had some major errors early on in that game. You know, we had some drop passes, some penalties, sacks. Those things always cost you the ability to move the chains and put yourself in scoring position. And we certainly knew our defense needed us to respond offensively in that first half. We weren't able to do that. And to get down that far, 31-0, is totally unacceptable. And it was disappointing at that moment. But I went in that locker room, and I tell you, I was so pleased with the maturity and the response that these kids had. Very little said by me, the staff. We made our adjustments. We all got on the same page, and we came out in the second half. And to see what I saw, and anybody who witnessed that second half effort, saw a tremendous effort by Joe Licata. I mean, I was never more pleased with his mental toughness, his ability to take a hit and continue to lead our offense and inspire our team. You know, Freddie Lee had a great game. Alex Nutz, another tremendous performance by those guys. Jimmy Gordon, I mean, Jimmy had an outstanding game, probably his best of the year, and really stepped up when we needed, and that's the senior leadership you look for. Tyler Grassman, what can you say about our punter? Nothing but great things. I mean, this guy every week, you know, delivers a tremendous winning performance, and for him to have the ball snapped over his head, and I don't know how he ever got that ball off, it was incredible. So he's a tremendous competitor, a great athlete. You know, real pleased with the play out of Khalil. You know, he's in a great position. He continues to inspire us, and you know, certainly this gentleman next to me. So with that, we look back. We look at our next opponent, Miami. Miami is a MAC East rival team. We know in a very short time ago they were the MAC champs, bowl champs. So we know that this is going to be their senior day. So their kids, those guys played on that ball club that year. So they're going to play inspired football. They've gone through a lot. You know, they've made some coaching changes on their staff. So obviously that hasn't helped them as much. But our focus, we got our complete attention on this football game and this team that we face, because we know how critical this game is for us. And this gentleman, to me, has been an outstanding addition to our program, and he's been a 3-year starter at the middle linebacker position, the guy that is leaned heavily upon to make the correct calls for our defense, and he's been able to do it. A high achiever. You know, a guy that knows how to do things the right way. He's a great leader, comes from a great family. It'll be exciting to get back down to Ohio and have him in front of his family and friends and fans. You know, he's got one of the highest GPAs on our team. You know, he's a business major, very active in our Bulls in a community program here. Just one of the most complete young men that I've been around. Plus, he's a wrestler. So it's another plug-in for those guys out there that want to come and play for Coach Quinn and that are wrestlers. And I knew his high school coach, Coach Toby. You know, he's done an outstanding job. And one of your teammates, Josh Copeland, went to the same high school. Right. So when I took the job here, signed Lee, and certainly he and I have been shoulder to shoulder in the process of building this program. So with that, we're very proud to have him representing our football team here today, and we'll open up to any questions you may have.
John, is this the kind of game that causes the coaching staff a little anxiety? So because you look at Miami, you look at what their record is, you look at the fact they haven't done much. You know, you're on the road, you know, you said their senior day, they're going to be geared up. You got to be sure you're ready this week. You know, you can't get the two MAC wins unless you get the first one first.
Well, that's a great point, because, you know, we addressed it yesterday in the team meeting. You know, I addressed it with our coaching staff. You know, without a doubt, this has got our full attention. We know, and what happened last week to this week, I know our kids are eager to get back to playing the way they had in that stretch. But as I said, look, you haven't done anything yet. You got to go down there and play better football. And we certainly have a responsibility as a coaching staff to do that. And we need to lean heavily on our leadership. And that's coaches, our captains, our ironclad War Daddy group, and our senior class. And to be able to do it on the road, second straight week, I have complete faith and confidence that these kids are ready to get back to work this week and take Intense Tuesday just for what it is, intensity through repetition, and go down there. Because if you take your eye off of the process and what it takes, and you're too caught up in the external factors, you're right. There'll be some very disappointed people, and I'm not going to let that happen. So I'm excited, I'm energized, as always. And I'm very pleased with the leadership in our program, and Lee's continue doing that for us.
Well, Lee, can you speak to that, as well, just what the attitude is now moving forward?
Definitely. We're definitely moving forward. We're focused on this week. We're focused on Miami. I know a lot of the older guys, including myself, we remember 2 years ago when we played Miami and being close to that area, that was something that was tough. That was a tough game for us. They left a really bad taste in our mouth. That's something we really feel like we have to get after. We know what Miami's capable of, just like any other MAC opponent. It's going to be a tough game. It's always a physical game. When you're playing in a MAC schedule, there's a lot of good teams. So this week, there's no other game that's more important than this week.
Coach, how much of a building block is building off last game, the next two games? That was really the first adversity you guys have had since the beginning.
Well, it is always a learning experience. Whether you win or lose, I'd rather learn by winning. But you certainly have to look at some of the positives that I took out of that game, and I think our players did. I liked the way they came out again in the locker room at halftime. I think we saw a lot of things that some of our younger players really stepped up. We learned about them. I thought our veterans did a great job, calming things down, settling down. Don't flinch, don't panic. That's hard to do. And if you have an inexperienced team, and we've been down that road before, this is not that type of team at this point. We don't have those kind of members in our program. So they understand completely what took place, and they understand that we did not start fast. Like we always challenge ourselves. Start fast and finish strong. That equates to a complete effort, and that's how you win games. So we need to take that feeling that we all felt. We didn't feel very good about that, and channel that energy and that mindset to get ready to go down there and play one to play last the way we've been able to do things up until this point, and know that there's a lot riding on it, which is exciting. That's what November's all about. That's what MACtion's all about. That's what this program has been built on. That's what we talked about, the tradition of having November and December a part of your culture. And so I know these guys they'll get back to work, and we'll learn from it, and we'll get better, and we'll get the results that we're all looking for.
Jeff, Paul Peck from UB Football Network.
Thank you.
While a game like Toledo can tell some of your future opponents some ways to maybe attack you, did it also give you an idea of what some teams think they can do to try to particularly beat your defense that hadn't happened for most of the season?
Well, what's on film is forever. It's out there. So people study. We spend a lot of time evaluating the schemes and the way you do your adjusting, the way defenses are coached and their coaching points and what their keys and reads are. The one thing I will tell you that I have no doubt Lou Tepper understands his defense better than any other opponent that can look at our defense, and our players understand it quite well. And, I give them credit. Toledo had some explosive players, and they made some explosive plays, and we weren't able to get our offense cranked up the way their offense was moving, and that certainly starts up front. But now we want to establish the run game. And we certainly had to get away from that a little bit because of what the score was, and we were able to get our offensive going by explosive throws and the way Joe was handling. Then that opened up a little bit back into the run game. So people will see what they see and make decisions as to how it fits what their schemes are. But there's no doubt. There was, to give up that many yards rushing, we take a lot of pride and stopping the run. And but they had something to say about it, and it wasn't so much the schemes as it was too the players that we were competing against. They're a good team. We know that. I told them, I said, we're going to go play Toledo, and they're going to be the best team that we faced in the MAC up to this point. So let's not walk off that bus thinking it's just going to be something where you're not going to have to dig as deep as you've ever dug before and to give it everything you got. So, but I feel good about our coaching staffs. They evaluated what we saw, and they'll make the proper adjustments and corrections so it doesn't happen again.
Jeff, is Bo okay at the end of that game? Just because
Yep.
he was on field, I just want to check in.
Yep, he was fine. We wanted also to, like I asked Matt Simon, my running back coach. I give my coaches an opportunity to evaluate, who's in the game, the circumstances that we're faced. I'm managing the game, so sometimes those personnel things happen awfully quick. But at the end of the day, I have a lot of faith in a lot of players in our program. And he wanted Anthony in there. And I thought Anthony did a nice job for us, again, as we've seen, and sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get unless you put him in there and allow him to play. So, he felt that's where he wanted to go, is give Anthony a chance to do that, in that point in the game and take a few hits off of Bo at that point. So that's why he put Anthony in, because I asked him the very question too. Why is 32 next to me? I don't need him here. I need him out there. But he felt, that was the best thing for us and give us the best opportunity to win.
As a defense as a whole, after a game like this, how much pride do you guys take as players in the next game to show that you put that out and come out strong?
This is definitely a redemption week. It hurts to lose anytime you lose. It doesn't matter what the score is. And our mentality on defense is if the offense doesn't score, we have an opportunity to win. So anytime a point gets scored, it definitely hurts your defense. And this is a week that we can get better. We can look at the last game, see some of our mistakes, and take it into the next week and really capitalize on that.
Do you guys, as a front seven or linebackers, do you guys say anything to each other in the game or now during this week to get yourselves even more ready?
I think so, definitely. Christian Sicoli, I think he touched on it best at halftime. He was really fired up. He's one of the front guys. Me and him are right in the middle, and he really got everybody going. And let everybody know that's not acceptable. We got to play better. This is something it's not easy, but we're very capable of doing it. We just have to follow our assignments.
Lee, Jeff referenced earlier
Yes.
the calls, and you're making the calls on the defensive
Right.
side. And Lou had said, earlier in the season and talking to him that he thought one of the big things this year was you guys making the calls quicker, like an improvement of like 3, 4, 5 seconds that
Definitely
really puts everybody in. Can you just talk about how that process works?
Yeah, definitely. I think we definitely have a better understanding of the defense. So the first year coming in, Coach Tepper has a great scheme, and it challenges a lot of offenses. So now that we're more comfortable in the scheme and we understand what Coach Tepper wants us to do and how he wants us to accomplish that, it really just gives us more confidence. Lets us sit back a little bit more, take in what the offense is giving us, make the play calls, and we have a lot of veteran guys that are bringing some of the younger guys along, like Brandon Crawford and Jarrett Franklin. Those guys are playing really well, and when you have guys that understand the scheme and understand what the coaches want to do, it really helps out and makes the whole team better.
So it's a familiarity process.
I think so.
More
Right.
than anything.
Right.
Jeff, what are the, particularly in their quarterback situation, what are the challenges in Miami's offense? Their starting quarterback is out. They're using 2 guys. One's a runner, one's a passer. Is there a rhythm to how they use those guys, and what kind of challenge is that for you to prepare for?
Well, you look at their the 2 kids, and as you made mention, their running attack is mainly to number 25, their wide receiver. They're running their their fly sweep runs, and some of it's a read concept, with him in motion. But the big guy is, he's been their leading rusher. So we fully anticipate number 11, their quarterback, the big guy, 6'5", to be the runner. And they really haven't established a consistent throwing game, but they certainly have the ability to throw the ball. They're trying to get it out of their hands quickly and what have you. So they're still trying to find what that identity is. And what we need to do is be prepared for both quarterbacks, because they will play both quarterbacks, and study a little bit more we're on a 7-day cycle, so we're actually on a Tuesday, so we're spending a little bit more time really digging into specific situations when each of them are in the game, charting every single snap. What is he doing? What are the formations? I mean, one of their top formation is 2 tight ends, no running back, and 3 receivers. So it's a very interesting thing about this: 2 tight ends, just the quarterback in the backfield, and 3 receivers. So it's an 0-2 personnel grouping, as you know.
Does the quarterback run?
Yes,
rush out of that
Oh yeah,
formation?
that's their. Yeah, they're going to run the quarterback, which is interesting because we did a little bit of that with Cullen Finnerty at Grand Valley, when Cullen was a redshirt freshman. So when I was looking back at watching some of their clips, I was like, oh, okay. We kind of get away from some of those things in this business, but it was kind of neat just to see that formation back, and that's how they're trying to, run and throw the ball, protect them with 2 tight ends attached, get 3 receivers out, and have the ability to run some inside zone and quarterback draws, and get the receiver in motion, and run some fly sweeps, some bash looks, and, so I feel good that our defensive coaches understand what the keys are, and I know our defense already had a little bit of an opportunity to rep it yesterday.
Where's Adam Redden stand? Is it probably another week before he comes back?
Yep. Well, he's progressing extremely well. Will he be ready to play Tuesday night? I had a great conversation with him yesterday. He said he is. He's ready. And I know in his heart and his mind he is, and we'll just have to wait and see, how well he's able to hold up this week. But he keeps getting better, keeps progressing, and we're going to see Adam before the season ends, and hopefully we'll see him sooner than later, and I think he feels that same way.
I imagine it'd be your inclination that he would have to be like a pure 100%. If he were to come back on Tuesday as opposed to having that extra 9 days, 10
Yeah.
days.
Well, I think what you find in every player, it's a little different. I know Adam. Some guys can play when they're not completely 100%, but can give you 100%. And I think that's in the case with Adam. That's the way he is. He felt good yesterday. He said, "Coach, I'm feeling much better than I've." Even last week. So he keeps improving. So, does he need to be 100%? I think we want all of our players to be 100%. But who in the heck's 100% at this time of the season? Nobody. I mean, everyone listening out there, players, coaches, we're all a little beat up. So it's a great game, and it does wear on you. But that's what this process is about. That's why these guys train all summer long, and we train all fall season long. These guys are lifting 2, 3, 4 times a week, just to keep them, strong and built up. So I think every player's a little different, but for him, he's ready to go, which I appreciate.
Lincoln, you've been starting for 3 years alongside Khalil. Can you give us a little perspective on what it's like for you to get as good a look at the way he plays and what teams try to do to him and what mostly unsuccessfully try to do to him? Just give us an idea of what that's been like for you to play with Khalil.
Yeah, it's definitely giving you a different perspective. You don't get a chance to play next to a player like that very often, so it's definitely fun. It opens up a lot of things, and I think the biggest thing is it opens up holes for other guys. So when you have 3 people on Khalil Mack, it definitely opens up plays. It allows players to make plays, and then I think the most important aspect is just his leadership. That's something that's really impressed me. He's a great player, and you can talk about the stat sheet and everything that he does on the field, but I think what you don't see on camera is what's most important, and that's something that's been most special to me is just how he's led the group, how he leads the charge, how he has control over the locker room, and just some of the things he says to motivate people. I think that's what's really important.
Is it a vocal thing as a leader? Is it an example? Can you give us some more specific of how he does that?
I think it's both. He definitely has a certain presence about him. Him and Brandon Oliver both. They definitely motivate people just by walking in the locker room, just the look on their face. Those are tough, gritty guys, and when we're playing at Toledo and when you might have some adversity and you see those guys, just the look on their face. They're not a guy that's going to back down or say no to anybody, and that's something that it really motivates people just by their presence. So they're vocal guys. They'll tell you when you're out of line. They'll get guys going, but I think their presence is the thing that's most overwhelming.
How much family are you gonna have at this game? Is this a little more special for you? It
It definitely is. I hope to have a couple couple people there that I know, but it's definitely special. It's only an hour away. You know, it feels like home to me, so it's gonna be fun.
What does it do for the team psychologically moving forward? When, you know, you're down 38-0, the first minute of the third quarter, and you find yourself in a game, you know, late in the fourth quarter.
Right.
What do you take forward from that?
I think that makes us stronger. You know, that's something that's special to see from Joe Licata. That's special to see from a team. You know, we're never out of the game. It doesn't matter if we're down 38 points. And I think that's what we took away from it. I know that's what Coach Quinn touched on. It's a learning experience. You're going to have some ups and downs, but we're a solid team. We know what we have. How we played in the second half is the team that we are, and that's how we need to practice. That's how we need to play all the time. So to see us come back from that, you know, when most people would think that we're out, and to see that, you know, none of the guys on the team are saying that we're done. You know, none of the guys are out. That's something that's really special. So for the rest of the season, I think that gives us even more confidence we're never done playing. You know, it doesn't matter if it's fourth quarter with a minute left. We're going to keep playing until it's done.
Anything else? Okay.
Love it.
Yep.
Great job.
Thank you, Coach Quinn.